senses, perhaps expecting a shrill, tinkling cat call. But no sound comes. Conrad taps, then pounds his way up and down the keys. Silence. Wordlessly, the two men lift the lid of the piano. Inside, they find a morass of cut wires and scattered wooden hammers, the unstrung guts of the instrument mixed with drifts of paper, letters, and unopened bills, notebooks, and telegrams, and pneumatiques. Conrad pulls the papers out by the handful, arranges them into piles on the piano bench, then gives up and allows them to scatter across the floor. Empty, doodled upon envelopes. Drawings of tiny, elaborate castles. Self-portraits of Erik wearing enormous spectacles. Patent applications for inventions that never existed. A declaration of excommunication from a pretend church for a music critic. And hundreds of newspaper clippings, some so small they look like confetti. 2-line notices of group shows or prizes, only some of them about Erik. Most of the names are unfamiliar to Conrad. They aren't household names, although the men are all young enough to be aiming for it, and some of them may yet succeed. These are Roger's friends, and he handles the scraps like relics, as if he sees in them proof that Erik cared about his acolytes, that surely he didn't mean those things he'd said to them toward the end. He did, Conrad thinks. He meant every word. And he's almost cruel enough to say it, to claw his brother back for himself. Ever since he was picked up this morning by Erik's friends in Roger's ludicrously bright yellow car, Conrad has been plagued by what he is only slowly allowing himself to acknowledge is jealousy. Erik would have dropped you soon enough, he thinks of the friends. But how could he possibly wish his brother any more alone than Erik already was? He doesn't. He never did. Conrad has always wanted to believe that blood weighs more than music. But he knows that the metaphor, besides being off-kilter, is also probably untrue. Erik's music, while light as laughter, was heavy enough to break even him in the end. The piano keeps vomiting. Steady letters from their sister Louise. Earnest notes from Philippe. How are you, old friend? Tell me you're well. Nothing from Suzanne, though why would there be? Even Erik didn't expect to hear from her after she married someone else. And expectation was Erik's constant state. No one could measure up, not Suzanne, nor Philippe, nor Conrad, although he tried hardest and longest. The apartment is an accusation, but what more, really, could he have done? Roger marvels over an exercise book that appears to contain some manuscript long since thought lost. He said he left it on a bus, Roger remarks, and neither of them knows whether Erik thought that was the truth, or whether he invented the bus so that everyone would stop asking him about an opera he didn't know how to finish. Many of the pieces in the composition notebooks are only a few lines long, and Conrad can't tell if they're deliberate sketches, Erik often worked in miniature, or abandoned efforts. One loose-leaf page contains 2 lines of music and a note about how to prepare oneself to play the piece 840 times in succession, as if Erik would ever in 1,000 years have had the patience to do such a thing. The air, tight with dust and soot, is full of smells Conrad does not want to think too long about. He forces a window, nearly sealed shut with old paint and dirt. On hot days in Arcueil-Cachon, this industrial suburb south of Paris, the smog is so thick that sunlight tumbles down through it like a bird with its wings wrenched back. A fly careers in as soon as the window squeaks open, as if it has been waiting politely for an invitation. Conrad sneezes and searches his pockets for a handkerchief, then reluctantly takes one from what he hopes is a freshly laundered pile on the gymnastic